Zillow Home Loans can get you the mortgage you need.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, once again, it is the midnight hour, and it's me, it's that VINCE. How you doing tonight, folks? Well, guess what? I am cold as fuck. This is the coldest side of my house here, okay? Let me give you guys a little bit of something here, okay? On a single wide mobile home, the tail end is always going to be the coldest, so I got the heater up to 75 degrees just to make it palatable here. So, but I got something to take care of that because it's a little cold, and plus it's 2 days before Christmas. Tonight we're going to be drinking a little bit of McFarland's Reserve Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Yes, sir. Let's go ahead and pour ourselves a little glass before we begin here. Tell me, folks, what are you drinking and smoking before the holidays? And don't tell me it's eggnog, folks, okay? The great one hates eggnog. That's good stuff. Put hair on your chest. So tell me, folks, what are y'all drinking and smoking tonight? Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of people streaming tonight. Lenny's been streaming a whole bunch. I'm sure Vegan Gains is streaming. Me personally, I was just finishing up. I had to shut down my websites and, well, not shut down some of my online chats here for the holidays so I don't get any messages. I want peace and quiet, you know. But folks, Bean Smasher, I'll have the replay up there. We're gonna miss you, but I hope you have a happy holidays here. So, yeah, a lot of people probably are gonna be enjoying the holidays at this point in time, but that's cool. You know, I'm gonna do a Christmas special for about an hour. I'll probably call it the midday run or something like that, or the Christmas run, who knows. Tomorrow I'll be at the Swordfish around 3 or so. I think I was able to squeeze in an appointment. Other than that, I'm going to definitely enjoy the Christmas holidays. So let's see what everyone's drinking and smoking tonight here. Uzu Cigar and Blunts. Okay. Devil's Lettuce. Okay. A lot of blunt smoking tonight here. I got you, Socrates. That's okay. You know, if you can't do it, you know, just sit back and listen to the great one. I got the hand rolled Nicaraguan cigar. Of course, I got my espresso coffee and water. Let's see, Michelob Ultra. All right. You got burgers and fries with that? You know, I can't seem to have a beer. If I ever, I rarely drink beer, folks. If I have a beer, it's got to be with a burger and fries there. I guess I'm one of those Jimmy Buffett type people, you know, cheeseburgers in paradise. I just, you know, if I have a beer, I got to have a burger along with it, you know. I was going to spend Christmas with my mom, but with this cyclone blizzard, I would have to drive up to Asheville. And, you know, it's going to be pretty treacherous out there because I have to go all the way up the hill. And usually, the last time I attempted something like that, I practically was stuck for about a couple of hours. There was just a huge amount of accidents. I'm lucky I didn't get myself killed because I was sliding all over the road. Oh, glad you dropped the Vegan Gains' channel, came over to the great one here. So, yes, Socrates, you can definitely have wine. This is the midnight run. It's the weekend coming up, and more importantly, it's Christmas. You know, Santa's about to squeeze his fat white ass down the chimney and give all the little kids, presents. Except people who grew up with me in the hood. We didn't have chimneys, you know. Who came to visit us? Probably the neighborhood pimp, you know, went and delivered gifts, you know. So, but folks, you know what time it is. You know, we can't have the midnight run without lighting up the cigar. So let's get this baby lit up, and then feel free to ask any questions. Remember, if in case you've never tuned into this show before, remember this is not Vegan Gains' channel. So any questions you have, just put down in the comments below. Cigar's having trouble lighting tonight there. I swear. It's probably this weather. Yeah, I know what you mean, Serratus. And of course, not only that, we got Kentucky bourbon whiskey, folks. Now, this stuff is normally like $30 or $40, but at Total Wine and More, it was on sale for like $18 there. I couldn't pass that deal up. So, folks, this live stream broadcast is brought to you by McFarland's Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey. Is Richard still yelling at his wife tonight? He's got to cut that out. Now, just because I'm not spending time with my mom, I can always give her a call and everything. So, no, I'll give her a call. We speak every single week there. Sometimes twice or three times a week. I love my mama, you know. I don't speak to my dad that much there, but definitely my mom's there. You know, men don't really do stuff like that, you know what I mean? It's kind of a woman's type thing, you know. Mika, oh, we got some cognac. VS, okay. I'm not sure if they make an XO or VSOP, but hey, that works there, man. What is my favorite Christmas song? Probably anything from Bing Crosby there, you know. You guys know that I love crooner music there. I mean, you got songs like Baby It's Cold Tonight there. You know, I tried to play that at Verizon. one time when we were still at the office, and I got yelled at. But definitely, thanks again, starting out the donations. Folks, make sure you put in that liquor money for the great one, you know. Let's see, what was that? Also, did you guys get hit bad or it's pretty bad around here. It's like 10 degrees. It's not as bad as Chicago, but you know, you have to consider because this is South Carolina, we don't have the infrastructure to actually take care of things like that. Our infrastructure is built to take care of heat waves and stuff. Hmm. Robert, I'm going to watch that documentary tomorrow, actually. That's going to be pretty interesting. Some serious allegations there, that's for sure. 25 milligram edible. Woo! You're not late there, guys. No one's late for the midnight run there, you know. Even if you miss the show, that's what replays are all about, you know. Hmm. Well, I mean, you have to remember Lenny is walking around with his phone. I'm in an office on using streaming software from my computer, so I have a better read of everything. Plus, I have a, you know, giant monitor. Now, I don't have two monitors like Richard, but I am getting that set up soon. So that way we can start reviewing videos here. Now, be nice there, Robert. You know, we have to treat women with respect there, you know. And be thankful that Jasmine is the only thing that stands between vegan gains and probably the next massacre shooting there, you know. Let's leave Jasmine alone there, okay? Happy holidays to you, Scatman. Jasmine keeps Richard under control, and that's a good thing. He makes sure that he gets his meds. You know, Lord knows what'll happen there if he doesn't get his meds. How do you cook a burrito in the oven? Yeah. Usually I put mine on the grill. Well, not a grill, flat iron grill. But it sounds good there, so very Christmassy. Yeah, and that's what I was telling people, Andrew, about the supplements. It's not that they're bad supplements; they're just well overpriced. You know, and this talk about natural and bioavailability, that stuff has been used for like 30 or 40 years. It's ridiculous. You know, I hate it when these manufacturers do stuff like that. To where they say bioavailability and natural. You know, it's just garbage. Stop the Cavalry, Fairy Tale. I'm not much into Fairy Tale of New York. The Slade is pretty good there, so. Oh, you bet I'm watching football this weekend, Andrew. That's every weekend. Hmm. Frank already sells makeup and cosmetics, if I'm not mistaken. Well, Richard, Vegan Gaines actually did a Elliot Rogers skit that got took down. That was part of the reason why he got raided, you know. Well, right now I'm just cold as hell there, not the cold-blooded sausage maker. Like I said, I'm on the end of my office is on the tail end of the house here, so it gets really cold. Okay, Robert. I gotta clear out the fridge there, so yeah, I got you. I'm pretty particular as far as to what I actually buy, so that's just to minimize clutter in my kitchen. But I always keep canned goods. Oh, really? I mean, it is possible. I'm sure Jason probably has company over once in a while. If the Detroit Lions actually do that, I'll have to take my hat off to them. You know, Detroit's had some hard times in the NFL. I'll tell you that. I don't think they've won a I mean, I don't think they've won a championship since maybe the '50s or so, if I'm not mistaken. Robert, it's extremely hard to rig pro football. You would have to have like the quarterback involved, the referees involved. It's not impossible or anything like that, but considering the amount of money that the referees are making, there it has to be you know, it would have to be a lot to convince them to do otherwise. And they screen the referees pretty quick. But even with bad referees, remember there's like 5 or 6 referees around, so that's another thing. And then you have call plays from the box, and so at this point in time, it's pretty hard to rig pro football, but nothing in life is ever impossible. Well, my favorite part of Christmas usually was it used to be getting the day off, but when I was at Verizon, usually I work Christmas, but of course, now that I'm not working anymore except on my business, this will be actually my first Christmas off, so this is right now the favorite. The worst part is all the gifts and everything. That's why I give out gift cards now. Because when I try to find a gift for someone, they're pretty, people are pretty unappreciative, and they want Xbox kid, and nephews and stuff want Xboxes and shit. Makes me want to give them a ColecoVision or a Tandy Color Computer 3 or something. But we don't say Xmas around here, by the way, Scatman. We say Christmas. Let me put that in here. Give me just a minute here. We say Christmas around here. We either say Christmas or Hanukkah. There we go. So let's see here. Well, the Jets coordinator wasn't gambling on football games. He was gambling outside the sport. Chances are, he was probably in one of those online poker rooms, but he wasn't gambling on NFL football. That's why he's only suspended, not banned for life. So it's a little to do about nothing. I donate all the time to charities, usually to suicide prevention. Also, I give to the Salvation Army. And I've actually donated cars to Miracle Ministries as well. So in my time, I've actually donated 3 cars to Miracle Ministry. So I donate a lot. Oh, Robert, sometimes the refs get it wrong, and that's why it's important for the coaches not to automatically go and pull out that red flag. But yeah, you're not going to be. It's never going to be 100% right on calls in any type of sport, even cricket. Well, Christmas and Hanukkah and stuff like that. That's how we do it there. When I worked at Verizon, we had to say Happy Holidays. We couldn't say Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah, so we wouldn't offend people or anything. But this is the midnight run. We say Christmas, we say Hanukkah. Now, if you celebrate Kwanzaa, that's cool with me. I don't celebrate Kwanzaa. I get all my celebrating and drinking before the 25th. Maybe a little afterwards, but you get my point there. And if you look into the history of the person who created Kwanzaa, you'll actually see why I don't celebrate Kwanzaa. Y'all look it up sometime and look into the founder of Kwanzaa. Elephant rescue centers. I didn't know they had those. Vince McMahon is already in the WWE. He can step down, but it's his company. He hasn't really left. I mean, if you watch some of his shows, you'll still see his face speaking. I don't get this idea that that Vince McMahon has actually left WWE. Vince McMahon is WWE. Well, I definitely appreciate that, Serratus. Of course, my ex-husband being, having, woo, that Kentucky bourbon's getting to me. My ex-husband having Nordic roots, I definitely appreciate that. When we always christen the house. Whenever we worked on one time we worked on a house or so forth, we always christen it. With that little pine stick there, and stuff. Sorry, the Kentucky bourbon's really strong there. That's what I like about it. After all, it is Christmas after all, but I won't get sloshy drunk. I'll just get, just sort of buzzed. Well, bro, train, that is true, but cars are worth a lot of money to it is a good write off, but cars are worth a good amount of money to places that donate because they can sell them for like a couple $1,000s if they fix it up, or just sell it for $1,000. They're excellent donations. But yeah, I actually drove mine. It's not like I dropped off garbage here. I drove all my cars in. They weren't that messed up. Well, Kaizen, that's why you got it. That's why it's important to finish the fight during the rounds itself. Never let the judges decide. Dana White always had it right all along. Never let the judges decide a fight contest. I've never met Vince McMahon. I've met pretty much everyone else. The only one that really, there's only two people that really know me in the WWE. That's Xavier Woods. It was at the time I was doing web work for the World Wrestling Council. He also trained at the same gym. Also, John Cena. He seemed to knew who I was whenever I ran up on him. I guess he watched my trolling antics here, but he's a bodybuilder, so I mean, what to expect. I mean, I've met a number of other people in wrestling. Of course, I've met the Nature Boy, actually, yeah, I did meet him. I hadn't seen him in quite some time there, but I've met a lot of wrestlers. If you go to one of those expos to where they're signing autographs, you can practically meet any wrestler. Well, Robert, anything can happen in the NFL. It wasn't fake at all. It was, in my opinion, it was just not thinking. It was just not thinking. Well, NFL is sports entertainment. I mean, much like any other sport, WWE falls under that same nomenclature as well as MMA. But that's mainly just to prevent lawsuits. For the most part, wrestlers still somewhat hold to kayfabe. but not just as much because people now know that it is, that it is sports entertainment, and people still take bets on it there because of that. I just don't like the fact that a lot of these a lot of these gambling companies are getting involved in things like the WWE because that can definitely be easily manipulated. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's always important to be cheery around Christmas and be thankful that you're still alive, that you got your family. A lot of people can be quite miserable on Christmas. There, maybe things in life haven't always gone right. But you just got to make the best of things. And Christmas embodies, making the best of things. Hey, you got through the year. You want to give back to your family. You want to spend time with them, and just have fun. You don't want to be like Ebenezer Scrooge. Right now, I'm probably a 6. I don't think I can get J Masters drunk. I think that would be literally impossible. I've never met Rick James before. I've never even been to one of his concerts. You have to understand, Rick James actually is before my time. TRT can possibly affect fertility, but it's quite doubtful, actually. When you're getting more testosterone in, that actually improves your fertility. I'm not with the Cena Nation or anything like that. I've just met him a couple times here. You have to remember Cena's a bodybuilder, so if you go to any bodybuilding expo, you're bound to run into him. I know, Robert. I get your point on that. But you don't. But like I said, it's better just to finish the fight there. I never want the judges to decide it because a lot of times, they can get it wrong. That's the same with boxing matches. When they go all 12 rounds, people feel like one got beat up other than the other by bruises or knockdowns and stuff like that. As far as points are concerned, so if you're I say that if any MMA fighters aspiring that are listening to my show, just beat the shit out of the guy and knock him out. Don't let the judges decide. That is possible. I think more or less the sports entertainment nomenclature is not really for taxes, but just to avoid lawsuits. It is illegal to rig football. It's illegal to rig any sport. No, J Masters would not be my type. Definitely wouldn't be my type. That I can assure you. Oh, all right. I mean, that's a good thing about Christmas. If you and your family have gotten into an argument, it's always the perfect time to, you know, uh, get things right. I don't know. A lot of big guys have won fights here, so yeah, I watched that this morning. I would have watched it earlier, but I no longer have a membership with CoffeeZilla, and it's kind of sad, that Logan Paul won't accept responsibility because it's his company. He's the one that started everything. It doesn't matter if uh, the crypto king went and ran off and made money off of it. It's still Logan Paul's fight. I mean, it's Logan Paul's responsibility. Of course not. That not all fights can win in a knockout and submission, but you want to try. Andrew, I don't even know what Jasmine's dad looks like. Hmm. Never watched Luke's Peep Show before. It's hard to get on TRT foolishly, because that stuff is prescribed by doctors. They have to have somewhat of a medical responsibility. They just can't pass along anabolic steroids. Physical masculine. I think I'll pass on that question. Well, Robert, speak to all the people that have been arrested. But here's the thing: just because something isn't illegal doesn't mean that it's right. Slavery used to be illegal, or excuse me, used to be legal. Gentrification by the liberals, that's legal, but it ain't right. So whether something's illegal or not, it doesn't make it right. Eminent domain is legal, uh, but it isn't right. And you guys remember the Eamon Bundy situation? Uh, do you know how that all started? It's because the feds, for some odd reason, set aside thousands of acres to protect a fucking turtle. I kid you not. It's all for a turtle. So it's more or less, from what it looks like from Eamon Bundy, he probably had some actual legitimate beef there, as far as his claims are concerned. But the Fed setting aside 1,000 acres for a fucking turtle, that's kind of suspicious. You got to look into things, and that's what I'm talking about, Robert. Just because something isn't illegal doesn't make it right. It was legal for the feds to set aside, thousands of acres for protecting a tortoise or turtle, but it doesn't make it right. SBF is not even going to go to trial whatsoever. And it doesn't surprise me that he got on bail for $250 million. He's still got plenty of money, folks. And so does his parents. But that case is never going to trial, folks. I'm just going to let you know that right now. You have to understand that cryptocurrency is a high risk thing. It's pretty much unregulated. It's not the same as the Bernie Madoff situation, to where you have stocks and bonds here. I don't think he's only going to face fines. I don't think he's going to do any. It's going to be really hard for him to do any jail time in actuality. Gentrification means that you're pushing out poor people. Clearing out neighborhoods that's usually with people that are poor or middle class, and you're going to set something up like a massage bar or a Essence oil shop in its place. They did that in Asheville down on Eagle Street, but where I come from, Asheville, North Carolina, it's a liberal shithole. So they've done a whole bunch of that, and they've cleared out a number of black neighborhoods with gentrification. Well, just to answer your question, Hemingway is 50% right. HGH does help skin, but some people change their mind like they change coats. So Hey, P for P. I hope your Christmas is going well as well. As far as student debt relief is concerned, I still have actually student debt actually, and I think the point is, I've been paying on it for 20 years. I've really much ignored it, but my loan hasn't actually gone down. On the other hand, people that have, but my degree is in engineering actually. I mean, I'll continue to pay on it as long as ever. I'm not really paying attention to Biden shit. The truth of the matter is that student debt relief was just to get the Democrats elected. Uh, and they knew this wasn't going to pass anyway, but you notice how all the channels have gone silent as far as student debt relief is concerned? It was just a political ploy just to get people to vote. Yeah, someone told me Blaha's Discord was banned, but I'm sure there'll be another one up. Well, Robert, we're gonna have to agree to disagree on it there. But remember, not illegal. Whether something's illegal or not illegal, it's not the same as whether something's right or wrong. You know, you shouldn't rig a football game or any type of game. I never met Mike Metzer. I actually corresponded with him for many years and learned his high intensity training. I don't have problems with turtles. I mean, they make a good soup. I have a problem with the Fed setting aside thousands of acres of land just to protect a turtle. And that's where this whole Eamon Bundy situation came from to begin with. It's kind of a rip. That's why a whole bunch of people went to his aid. Now, given he is a racist he is a racist and everything like that. But this is America. You have a right to an opinion and everything like that. So, but when we put numbers together, it's kind of fishy to set thousands of acres aside for a turtle. I think it's more or less like a government land grab, if you ask me. Politicians funnel our money all the time, Fernandez. Malak, I certainly hope you're doing well. Thanks again for the donation. Feel free, of course, always to ask any questions. Uh, but yeah, politicians always funnel money. Mm. They do that stuff all the time. A little bit more whiskey. Maybe I might get J Masters drunk. We've given $100 billion to Zelensky. I think he's gotten more than enough money, and we've not just given him money. This is just cash in itself there. This isn't even including all the weapons that we've given him. We've given him billions of dollars in weapons, too. I mean, billions of dollars worth of weapons. It's ridiculous. We've given him enough money. We really got to start getting back to America first. We got to take care of Americans first before we take care of somebody else's country. And I mean, Ukraine is not exactly a nice country. They treat black people like antique farm equipment. They really treat niggers like niggers. I mean, they were literally, whenever the war started, they were shoving them off the train, smacking them and stuff like that, and beating them. That's all the more reason why not to like Ukraine. Although it's the same as Brittany Griner. They shouldn't have their asses there to begin with. What is a black man doing in Ukraine to begin with? Of all the countries a black person has to go to, why the fuck would you go to Ukraine? I agree, Andrew. Frank does need to be banned for stupidity, but, it's a free country. Guys, and you can forget about the student debt relief. It was just a political scam. They were also saying that we were going to get reparations. I'm like, Charlie, they've declared that for many years on the crisis, and just like I said last week, it's pretty easy. You don't need a wall. You just need. We got the army has millions of rows of Constantine wire. You know, all you need is barbed wire. It's cheap. You can lay it all across. Nobody ain't crossing that shit. And then just put some monitors up there, and you got business here. You know. This is a Romeo and Juliet cigar, Nicaraguan. I don't. It's a general purpose one, but it's a Romeo and Juliet one. Long filler. I'm actually a happy drunk. I'm never an angry drunk. Menser was very eccentric person there. He was across. He was both a genius and pretty much almost what I would consider a cat lady. You know, he just had some eccentric thoughts here, but you know, always a consummate professional. And you know, in order to understand him, you have to have an extended vocabulary. You know, I mean, but he was basically the only other person that can speak as eloquently or write as eloquently probably would be Frank Zane. No, I don't play any mobile games. I don't really do any video games anymore. But I may start doing some video game live streams possibly. I've been thinking about that, but we'll see. I don't have any favorite games on an SNES because I never owned one. I had an Atari Jaguar. For my Atari Jaguar, my favorite game was Tempest 2000. Zelensky wants American money to build his country. And like I said before, Charlie, America, it's time we started putting America first before all these other countries, you know. They have billions of dollars of our worth of our weapons. They have billions of dollars worth of our cash, our tax dollars. I think we need to he needs to go back to where he came from, you know. No crip walk today, Quick Pump. No, slavery is wrong, and slavery wouldn't work in this day and age because of the industrial industry. The truth of the matter is, if the Civil War wouldn't have happened, slavery probably would have ended about maybe 20 years later because of machinery. It's the same with jobs now. You have AIs. You go into McDonald's, you hit a panel to order your food and stuff, and now they have robot cooking machines. You know, jobs are going to go to the wayside there, and, you know, I'm glad I'll be retired pretty soon, so. Exactly, Fernandez. It's panhandling, you know. Why do we give so much money to every other country and we don't even help ourselves out, you know? You know, they complain about the water in Flint, you know, and it's just not Flint. I mean, most of Mississippi, the water's pretty bad there, you know. The money can go there. It can go to a number of other communities here in America. We can get a refund on our taxes because we spend a bajillion amount of taxes, but all of our tax dollars are going to some other pet peeve project or something, you know. It's not really, we pay American tax dollars and our money is not going back to us, which is what it should be. That's the intention of paying taxes. The purpose of taxes is to help the American infrastructure. It's not to help Ukraine, Europe, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, not even Africa, you know. They have their own communities, they have their own standards, they have their own government, you know. If it's a territory that we own like Puerto Rico or Guam, that's one thing. We should help out Puerto Rico and get that cleaned up because that is an American territory. But everyone else, Fuck them, fuck them in the ear. No, we definitely should. You should never institutionalize someone for being poor, but that just goes back to my point. The money that we give to other countries can go to clear out the homeless like every other country. How many homeless people do you see walking around in Sweden? Don't worry, I'll wait. And sorry, I'm getting too political on this Christmas season, and stuff like that. But sometimes I gotta keep it real and tell it to you like it is when someone asks me a question. Charlie, be nice, be nice. I can't unblock what you just said. You won't be seeing PJ until 2025. He's gone. Although you will see Aaron Singerman. Hmm. Aaron Singerman's always going to be my pal, but if it wasn't for him, I really wouldn't have my channel or so forth, as well as getting out of that situation that he helped me get out of. Aaron's helped me out in my very darkest moments here, but I do worry about him, especially with him getting out early. I feel sorry for Matt Ryan there. But you have to remember, it's not one person; it's a team in football. It is. Matt Ryan didn't so much as fail the team. Didn't so much as fail completely. The whole team did. It's a team effort that goes from the players to the coaches, even to the water boy. Yeah, I mean, the military can lay down thousands of miles of barbed wire in no time, and it wouldn't even cost us a freaking dime whatsoever. If you lay down barbed wire and metal fencing, your border is pretty much secure. Well, Charlie, probably in about 15 to 20 years, there will no longer be any gas-powered vehicles. The reason why electric vehicles are so popular is because it's an electric source. You can use solar or wind. Eventually, what I see happening is, just about every home is going to have solar and wind, solar panels built into the tiles, and it's going to charge up the vehicles. That's why electric vehicles are so popular. And don't forget, when cars were originally invented, they were for the most part electric to begin with. Fernandez, we don't know exactly what happened to Hemingway's dogs there. You know, they're still alleged, but I also have to say likely happening. But I've seen a lot worse there. I mean, don't forget about the Michael Vick situation. All right. Once again, folks, what I'm drinking is McFarland's Reserve Kentucky Bourbon Whiskey. Charlie, I have no prediction on Jason right now. The internet is a finicky thing. People thought Andrew Tate was done for, but he's still around. So PJ is perfectly fine. He's in a minimum security prison. It's still not good to be in prison, but he's not in a medium or maximum security prison. He's perfectly fine. But he'll be there until 2025. I've not seen the Good Times Christmas episodes in a long time. Actually, that's a good idea of something I can watch during the weekend before football comes on. Of course, we are going to do the Christmas live stream. Dusty, you're talking about a ketogenic diet per se. Don't, if you're going to do a ketogenic diet, you got to cut out the carbs completely. You can't just go low carb. Usually a ketogenic diet is what I used whenever I was competing. You know, the same thing that Dave Palumbo taught me, essentially. And yes, Dave Palumbo taught me his ketogenic diet, folks. So, and that's what I used for my very last show, along with, having ALR Industries behind my back. You know, that's how I got so shredded there. Or, not shredded. Yeah, shredded. Yeah. I was cut like a freaking bird that day. But yeah, dude, you really want to consult with Palumbo about the ketogenic diet, but it works really well. I love it. It's a great diet if you need to cut down. Well, Charlie, yes and no. I have to say yes and no. There's certain resources and areas. Some cities, like San Francisco, it's intentional so they can get more money from the government to use for their own pet peeve projects. They prop up the homeless as puppets. But you also have, vets that have came out of the war. Their head ain't always right and everything. So, but here in America, we do have the resources to take care of every homeless person out there, but we don't because we're giving our money away to places like Ukraine and every other country. But you can't fault someone for being so much for being homeless there. Being poor, just because you're poor doesn't mean there's a problem with you. Well, Andrew, I mean, if he ate his dog, I hope he put ketchup and mustard on it with a bun. So, hmm. Hmm. Well, evening to you, Greg. I already commented about that before. It's just a Discord channel. He'll just get another one set up. It's like Reddit. I mean, there's been so many Genova Reddit channels shut down, and then they just pop back up a day later. Yes, I got hit by the winter storm here in South Carolina. So I'll be in the meantime because, South Carolina does not really have the resources so much for cold weather. Our resources are mainly for hot weather. No, I wouldn't date Andrew Kalora. Folks, I'm just gonna make it clear. I would not date any bodybuilder at this point in time. I've only dated one bodybuilder, and I'm not gonna name that person. But he competed in the nationals as a bantamweight, if you want to know. So I've only dated one guy who competed at the nationals a bantamweight. He did actually pretty well. So tonight, folks, are getting some shocking information. I know my friend Nick is rooting for Georgia winning there, but like I said, we'll see. Anything can happen. Well, we're talking about two different situations, Kaizen. A whole different situation. Grinder had weed. PJ ran a criminal enterprise. One that I warned both Aaron and PJ not to do, you know, and also to plead guilty as well instead of running it for so many years. If they had pled guilty at the time, all they would have gotten was fined. They wouldn't have even done no prison time to begin with. Because at the end of the day, the only thing the feds want is the money. But if you make them fight for like 4 years and you piss them off, then yeah, they're gonna give you prison time. The Martin Lawrence 30-day special was on BET Plus, and folks, I don't pay for streaming channels whatsoever. I pay for whatever I get, whatever I get on my Amex Platinum card. You know, I should, folks, just to let you guys know, my website, vincegoodrum.com, it doesn't just have videos up there. It has also articles that I actually write as well. So, hell no, I'm not for a universal basic income. That's communism right there, you know. People should get what they work for. If you're lazy and you don't work, you shouldn't get shit, you know. If you work hard, you should get your money's worth. So no universal basic income. I do believe, as far as our system of welfare and everything like that, I think we should give stipends here instead of giving people food stamps. You know, give them a stipend of certain products, no different than what we did during the war. Have people, they should get, for example, maybe a couple of pounds of flour a week or something like that. Beef. You should have straight products, and that way, the parents are not using their food stamp benefits to buy their kids fast food. And yes, folks, you can buy fast food with food stamps and candy and junk food. But no universal basic income. That's communism. We don't like commies here. We're Americans. Well, I mean, he doesn't have, I don't think he has a roommate. I mean, everyone has had people over their house. I had a couple friends over, and they tore up my toilet there. I showed y'all guys that picture, just because someone visits doesn't mean that they're a roommate, and it doesn't mean I'm fucking them neither or anything. So, no, Andrew, I'm not gonna name him. Sorry. Yeah, I was sorry to hear Jerry Ward pass, but we were on odd ends there. He said some pretty nasty things about me but he explained that he was on drugs, but he never gave me an apology. And I'm also talking about some really racial stuff that he said about me. I won't go into that, but you got to leave things where it is at this point. No, not Jones. Don't try to guess, folks. Fernandez, I don't have a particular race or anything like that. Just be a good person. Don't be an idiot or anything, and you're fine. It's what I consider dateable material. No, Greg is never gonna give a refund to anyone that bought his turkesterone product. He should, but everyone knows he isn't. Well, half dollar again. I don't pay for streaming services. I don't pay for TV, folks, unless I'm on TV. I have Peacock, Paramount, and the Disney bundle because that comes with my Amex Platinum card. I naturally have Amazon Prime, and then I use but the most of the time I'm watching Pluto anyway, and that's free. And then I have my antenna out so I can watch local channels. There's no need to pay for TV, really. It's a waste of money. The only thing I would pay for would either be BritBox, if Shakespeare and Hathaway comes back on, or Agatha Raisin, but that would be only for like a month or so, so that way I can binge watch it, and that's about it. Robin Self, if I had a choice between giving Ukraine billions of dollars as opposed to universal income, I would choose America first naturally. But at the same time, when you have universal income, it gives people a reason not to work as hard as they can, or to strive to be their best. And that's the issue that I have with universal income. It's already been tried there. That's why the Soviet Union collapsed, because of shit like that. Exactly. They use EBT cards to buy energy drinks, snacks, fast food, and everything. I appreciate that. I'm not looking for love right now, really. So, like I said, I've been married before. I still date, but it's not my main purpose. I've been there and done that. Yeah, Jerry Ward made some racial slurs at me there. That's been pretty well known. He said things about other people as well. I that's one movie I've actually never seen is Taxi Driver. I've never seen that before. No, I don't like fish sticks because it's processed food. I don't eat any processed food or any minced things. When it comes to fish sticks, the source of the fish is kind of mysterious, would be the best way to describe it. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Well, you just said it. They're two dorks. Greg, I just prefer not to think about it. I wish all the best for his family. No, I don't ever wish death upon anyone like Vegan Gaines does. But at the same time, I don't have any good words for him. And just like my mom said, if you don't have anything nice to say about someone, then don't say it at all. I'm sure you can use EBT cards for porn, so. Yeah, I've watched all the episodes of 1883, and then I watched all the episodes of Yellowstone, so I'm all caught up on that. It's a pretty awesome show, both series, and now I'm watching 1923 as well. But yeah, I went and binge watched the Yellowstone just to get caught up with what everyone was talking about. Don't be disappointed, Charlie, because this was at a time when Jerry was using a whole lot of drugs. So I'll chalk it up mainly to the drugs that he was taking, to where he was just flipping off at the mouth. Mm. Hadn't seen Pugman yet there, but I certainly hope he's having a good Christmas here. One thing's for sure, I'm having a very good cigar. It was kind of hard to light up, and it's hard keeping lit. It's probably because I'm on the side of the house and it's so cold. Whenever it's really cold in the surrounding areas, the cigar acts a little funny, but I agree with you somewhat on that, Greg. But remember, you know, just like McDonald's hamburgers, people still eat that McDonald's despite being a nasty food because of advertising. There's no excuse for their behavior, but you always have to make attempts in order to clear up the behavior. I mean, I like fish, but I don't like processed fish like fish sticks, for example. Anything that's minced up there, it's going to be questionable. Jerry was using a lot of stuff there. He was using recreational drugs. A cigarette? It's been quite a long time there since I've actually had an actual cigarette. But I don't smoke them because they got too many chemicals in it. In my life, I've probably only smoked maybe 7 or 8 cigarettes. Literally, probably even less than that. I mean, I really can't think of a time I've smoked that really had too many cigarettes. Well, actually, Ben and Jerry's is a good bulking agent. It's a lot of calories. I mean, if you look at the weight gainers that they sell, I mean, it's all sugar anyway. So if you're going to have weight gainers, why not? I would rather have Ben and Jerry's than have some of this weight gainer supplements that they have. I've only when it comes to the Sound Factory, you have to remember I'm not from New York. I don't have any Sound Factory stories. That's something you would have to ask King Kamali about. I'm sure he has a bunch of Sound Factory stories. Yes, people have to be accountable, but in life you can't always make the right decision. I've made some really screwy decisions in life. You can't be right all the time. You have to take responsibility for it, but sometimes you get into positions to where you really screw up there. So. Well, 5% is still running because 5% wasn't just Rich Piana. It's a company full of people. I mean, the founder may be dead, but, so are many founders. I mean, think of J.C. Penney, Sam Walton. Founders of all companies generally die at some point in time, but most companies still are going to live on. So the person that created the company dying, just because he died doesn't mean that the company automatically goes out of business. I mean, it was making too much money at that point in time. So I don't really know who's running it at this point. They didn't serve MedX protein shakes at the bar, but there was a lot of E. you know. Now, back in the late 90s, I was doing GHB actually. And I did do a little cocaine on occasion as well. But this was a very long time ago. But I like the GHB because it helped with the sleep there, and it was a very good recreational drug. So, but folks, don't take drugs. Drugs are bad. Okay. Never talk with ZYZZ. I did communicate with Chessbra a few times. Well, Greg, I mean, even it doesn't matter how old you are. You can always make mistakes in life there. But the key to mistakes is make sure you learn from them. I mean, Michael Jordan, I mean, he was in his 40s and he made some really bad gambling decisions. There was one night where he lost $5 million. It's just part of life. Boston Lloyd made a number of racial slurs against me as said a lot of bad things. So to me, he wasn't a solid guy. But again, I don't wish death upon anyone. Folks, one thing I have to let you know, people's outside persona whenever they're on YouTube or social media isn't the same whenever it's done in a professional manner. You know, people will act a lot differently than what they usually are. So, just saying. Yeah. I wasn't in love with the cocoa. It was a party, so, yeah. No, I wasn't doing it like Lenny there, so. Even when I was taking recreational drugs, I did it in moderation. If there was a moderation type, and I definitely never drove home, I always caught a cab. There was no Uber at the time, there was a cab. Either that or, I would get a hotel. Usually if I'm in town, I'm going to get me a hotel room and then I'll stay there pretty much. So it would be in close distance to where I can either walk or get a cab. No need to get pulled over and get a DUI or anything. Dry roasted nuts are not processed at all. Favorite athlete of all time? I think I just named him Michael Jordan. It's going to be different with everyone, but Michael Jordan was my generation. The Finn, strong. I never got so much into when it came to doing drugs or anything like that. I'm not focusing on how it feels. I just want to get. When you take recreational drugs, the purpose is to get all wickedly feeling good, and well, in layman's terms, get wasted like a motherfucker. So. But these are part of the mistakes that I made. I wasted a lot of money at that time, money that I could have put towards my retirement. When I was selling gear, I made a lot of money, but most of that money went right back out with drugs and partying and buying expensive stuff there. It is what it is. What it's going to be is what it's going to be. I've only had like 2 or 3 conversations with Andrew. Not really that many. Here's what I'll tell you on that, Charlie. And I've explained to Big Lenny that, I think a lot of people have taken advantage. I've told him many, many times that a lot of people have taken advantage of him in order to make money. So, as far as how much money, I'm more than sure that Big Lenny's been screwed over from YouTube money as well as other funds. I'm just not sure how much, but he definitely has been screwed over. Frank, mobile homes don't have chimneys. But, if I feel like it, someone might get a candy cane up their ass. A big, giant chocolate candy cane. I would go with Genova over Dennis Rodman Quick Pump. Hmm. Well, Kaizen, it's all said in good fun. The Piedmont porch monkey and stuff there. So, I, you know, look, folks, my feelings don't get hurt or anything like that when people say things like that. With the exception, the difference is that Lenny doesn't know what the hell he's talking about for the most part, so it's cool with him. Jerry Ward and Boston Lloyd actually meant it. They had no respect for black folks, you know. And given the fact that Big Lenny was being whipped and eating the poo out of black tan, you know, I can't see Big Lenny as being racist. Just weird. Good question. Probably Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is very aggressive, but it would still be very close. I think Tyson would edge it out. I tried selling CBDs for about a year. Wasn't I didn't sell too many of them. I think the CBD market is going down the drain now that real weed is being legalized. I think the attraction of CBD is like, hey, it's marijuana, but it isn't marijuana. And the truth of the matter is it was not really anything. They pretty much marketed it no different than pro hormones to steroids. That's the way I look at CBDs. Pro hormones to steroids, CBDs to weed. Kaizen, it's not a matter of getting rich, it's just a matter of just making money. Well, I can't show what you said, Fernandez, but yeah, in life you have to give zero fucks, you know, as far as to what you're doing, you know. But never feel bad about making mistakes because we all make mistakes, folks. We all do, you know. That is part of that's the nature of human beings. We're on this planet. We're going to make good decisions. We're going to make mistakes. It's just that it's important that we learn from our mistakes in order to make good decisions in the future. And that's the way you need to look at it. Well, that's the way things are going there. I don't smoke weed or anything like that. I like my cigars, but it's a newer generation, folks. My generation pretty much is over with, you know. You know, every time I read something that makes me laugh and while I'm puffing on a cigar, it'll get up my nose. But with Vegan Gains getting paid for arguing with people and his passion of sticking things up his ass, you can call it a win. I certainly don't. Sure makes a lot more money on it on his live streams here, but it's not always about the money, folks. I don't really know 784. I really can't answer that. Here's how I ended up selling CBDs. I had a supplier that gave me a good deal on it there, so I'm like, hey, you know, it was a good business deal. It was no risk to me. He just wanted me to list it on on my budget medical supply website, which I did, and it didn't do pretty well. And he's no longer in business, so that's how it ended. Sorry to hear that, Serratus. Yeah. I'll be at that fixed. It's not Richard's passions. It's he's mentally unstable, and not only that, he's in a position where he has to continue doing what he does in order to make a living. Greg, I wouldn't do it for 2 million, 5 million, 10 million. You know, dignity and respect is priceless. I'm not gonna sell myself out. I'd rather be homeless than to do something like that. You will never catch me on OnlyFans unless any videos sneak out at some point, which is what happened with one at one particular time. I have a pretty high IQ, Bradford. I don't know where it is at this point. I used to focus when I was a kid on IQ as well as my teachers because they said I had a high IQ. At this point in time, I realized that book smarts isn't always the best thing. You also have to have street smarts. So it's a balance. Even if someone doesn't have a good IQ, if they have excellent street smarts, that's that's just about even Stevens on that. Well, Cuban is going to continue being yelled at until he actually gets involved in this bodybuilding and fitness industry. When Jay Masters asked me about why I yelled at him and I explained, he pretty much got what I was talking about. Mm. I don't even know what Brad does for a living. Vaping got popular because you can do it indoors, but I think the attraction to vaping is it's a lot more cleaner than a cigar. You don't have to keep it in a humidor. You don't have to take care of ashes or anything. You don't have to smoke outside or so. Plus, vaping comes in different flavors. And some people also think that it's much healthier as well. I mean, I've tried vaping before. I definitely didn't like it. I just hated it. Whether I'm back on RX Muscle or not, that's entirely up to Dave. It's his channel. But that was more or less a one off thing. One thing's for sure, I won't be a regular on RX Muscle. Well, Jay Masters doesn't care about Cuban. He's a sidekick. And Cuban doesn't lift weights. He's not a bodybuilder. He's not a fitness coach. He's not a steroid dealer or anything. I mean, he still looks like, he doesn't really look like Wolfman Jack anymore now that he's shaved. So nowadays he looks like Egon Spangler from the Ghostbusters. But that's just the thing. I absolutely hate people that get involved in the bodybuilding industry and have no involvement in bodybuilding whatsoever. I absolutely hate that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. Oh, Brad has he has one of those Fed jobs. That's a really good job actually. But working for the postal service, yeah, he's going to be working overtime anyway, whether he likes it or not. That's a government job, so he doesn't have any choice on that, especially around this time of season. Well, there's not been enough studies, 784, as far as the long term effects on vaping. We already know what cigars and cigarettes will actually eventually do, you know, and what can be expected, you know, possible throat, oral cancer, and stuff like that, you know. But I'm sure vaping is going to have some more serious side effects than cigars, simply because of it's still like cigarettes. It has a lot of chemicals in it. Well, Serratus, at this point in time, I mean, well, it was pretty easy to shut that down because they've known I've been gay for like, I mean, what, for at least like 15 years or so. No 24-hour stream. No work tonight neither, which reminds me, I gotta turn off my business line. I forgot to do that. Hold on, folks. You see, I use KL8 service. I've been using that for 20 years. And it forwards my toll-free numbers to my cell phone, actually. All right, so now it's turned off. And yes, sometimes I'll get business calls at midnight. I'll still answer them anyway. Probably not, Dusty, because, you know, his money is cumulative as far as to what he actually makes on his channel. But I'm sure he could probably, it would be hard for him to get a regular job given the fact that, you know, he hasn't had any job credentials for many years. But he was a personal trainer at one time, so he could easily work in a gym. I mean, I intend to go back to work in a couple of months there. There's a company out there called Concentrix. They need a corporate escalation specialist. You know, that pays about $60,000 a year, and I've been considering doing that. That's also one of the reasons why I don't depend so much on YouTube revenue. I'll actually say YouTube revenue has helped me out a lot, especially Pugman, as far as doing other projects and everything. But ultimately, you know, I get kind of, you know, at this point in time, I get kind of bored. Even with running my businesses are pretty much automated, you know. I answer a couple of calls and that's pretty much it. I upload file updates. That takes me all of about an hour or two. Yeah, Ian has gone downhill. I've actually tried to talk to him about getting some help and he hasn't listened. I didn't say that, sir. There's no need for me to say that. Me and Dave have known each other for over 20 years, so there's nothing we have to hide between each other, nothing new that we don't know about each other, so. But the thing about it is the gay angle has been done many times. It's done and over with. No, I never played any football. I had no aspirations for it. I know who he is. I know who McCarthy is. He's on my Facebook friends list. I speak with them a lot, actually. Posing has really nothing to do with the mind muscle connection. Posing is just posing. I mean, it's what you need to do before doing a show itself to make sure that the judges can see your body the best. Genova's been allowed to actually post now, so he's been making a bunch of Facebook posts there. So they've loosened up the reins on Jason. I don't think it'll be to the point to where he'll be making videos again. Oh, sorry. I mean, you. When it comes to my friends, I mean, I have to know them long enough to where we can joke about that, you know. You know, and sometimes I'll have to admit I've called my friends crackers and honkies before in a jokingly manner when we were out partying and drinking. They've called me, but it's a certain you have to have a connection with your friends to be able to joke around like that, you know. And the problem is that you know when it came to Jerry Ward and Boston Lloyd, they really meant what they said. Yeah, McCarthy is still suffering from depression. All right, Greg. Thanks again for tuning in. You have a good night and happy holidays, or Merry Christmas to you, or Hanukkah, or whatever you celebrate. Well, someone else will have to tell him Big Rob Fitness has blocked me. We're definitely not friends. All right, so the cigar is done. So remember, folks, make sure you twist. And now we're going to have a little water. I'm especially thirsty tonight for some odd reason. Well, Lake, you need to really ease up on that. Ah. Remember, folks, this show is sponsored by McFarland's Reserve Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Andrew, I want you to think about what you just asked me. Well, Jerry Ward came on Get Big one time. I told him to quit spamming the site. He called me a nigger. And I think subsequently he was banned from Get Big some other time soon. I don't think he said the words exact nigger. It was some sort it was definitely a racial slur. But he was banned from Get Big for that as well as spamming. Well, now you have 784. I don't believe in any type of cryptocurrencies or ETFs or anything like that. Just go with stocks and mutual funds. They're risky, but it's you can still work with that. Yeah, I met Stan but at an expo before. Nice guy. When it comes to bodybuilders, I've practically just about met every single one of them for the most part. Mm. All right, folks, we got 30 minutes left. Be sure to get your questions in. Also, put a little money in for the swordfish if you want there, since I'm going there tomorrow. We need beer and liquor money, so donate if you wish. So, well, money laundering isn't a good idea. You should ask PJ Braun about that because that was one of his charges. So, as well as Aaron's. No, money laundering is definitely not a good way to make money. Bradford is harder to do the old school way. Nowadays, money laundering is done through cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. New technology. I guess you haven't seen that CoffeeZilla video. You should really watch it on CryptoZoo. I mean, that's literally the definition of money laundering, if anything. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't risk prison for a one-time drug run to Mexico. The reason being is because it's not prison that you would worry about. It's getting killed. Uh, you have to remember, these drugs are coordinated by drug cartels. So if you run drugs for one person for one cartel, that other cartel is going to be looking for you. Even if you make that $1 million, you're not going to live long to enjoy it. And they will track you down in America too. So that's a hard no to that. Not only that, you really don't need $1 million to begin with. That's another thing. People are so much in a rush to get big houses, fancy clothes, and stuff like that. You don't need that. Look at me. I bought a $50,000 mobile home. I could have bought one that was $250,000, but I didn't need it. I just don't need that type of money there. It's good to just live I put my wealth in being comfortable and being relaxed with what I'm doing. I put my money into, my wealth is in just having, for the most part, a stress-free, or as best as I can, a stress-free life. Although Verizon was a very stressful job. You have to remember that money is very important. And I've been a rich man and a poor man. I'll choose rich any day. But at the same time, so many people try to get caught up with quick money that they miss out on things in life and they end up getting themselves in trouble. That's how PJ and Aaron got themselves in trouble. They made millions of dollars here, and they did it the quick way, and they did it the wrong way. So Raidus, thanks again for the swordfish money, and Merry Christmas to you too as well. Andrew, I'm not going to do the same thing I did on my Earl Grey Tuesday. YouTube dropped the hammers on me when I went in there. Plus, he has me blocked on his chat anyway, so I couldn't even say hey to him to begin with. I think Jasmine actually blocked me out at that time. But that's just the whole thing. Richard, Vegan Gains makes way more money than I do, even when I was working at Verizon. But is he a happy person? No. And he compensates for that by buying silly gifts, having all those animals, and and stuff. What I try to tell people as far as money is concerned is get the basics down, get the base stuff, you know, and don't spend your money on things that you don't need to. You know, all my clothes that I bought, I never spent the dime for any of the clothes that I actually wear. What I used was Verizon benefits. I used whenever I got my bonuses at Verizon, I cashed them out as Men's Warehouse gift cards, and the benefit of that is you don't have to pay taxes on that. So I've got a bunch of Men's Warehouse cards. I got some Brooks Brother cards and stuff, and I bought my shoes and my clothes with that. You know, I'm gonna need shoes and clothes anyway. So why not get gift cards from Verizon in lieu of money? Because if I got money on my check, then that means I would have been taxed 50% by the government. So I got most of my bonuses in gift cards here. Well, good luck at that, Andrew, but I doubt that would ever happen. But there are ways to strategically manage your income. But I've not spent a dime on my clothes whatsoever. The only time I actually spent money on my clothes is at the Goodwill. But how much does a shirt cost at the Goodwill? Like $2? You know, there's ways of managing money, and I'm sure at my next job that I possibly take there, I'll use those same benefits here. You know, if you work a job, for example, every single job has some sort of underhand benefit, corporate benefit, or so forth. Even McDonald's. It's best to take advantage of those because the benefit of those is, like I said, with the. Why go and get cash when you're already getting a paycheck when you need to buy clothes? Because if you go get cash, for the most part, you're gonna get taxed. Get gift cards instead, folks. You know, because then you get 100% of your money. Well, it's quite easy, Bradford. Let's say your house is paid off, such as mine. Let's say, you know, you don't spend any money on cable. I don't. I don't spend money on TV. I mean, I'm an affiliate for Mint Mobile. I don't spend any money on my cell phone bill nowadays, except maybe $15 a month. If your expenses are down at a certain point there, then you don't really need that much money in order to pay your bills. It's very easy to do. That's why I've not had to go back to work immediately. I mean, I could stay out of work for, you know, indefinitely if I wanted to. It's all about managing your expenses. Yeah, the Goodwill actually has plenty of practically brand new shirts for $3. But think about it for a minute. You buy a shirt from a department store and you wear it a couple of times and you wash it. It's no longer brand new. It's already used, folks. It's just cloth, people. It's just cotton. It's just silk, you know. It's clothing, you know. It doesn't matter if someone else has worn it or not. You're going to wash it. It's going to have, once you put the shirt on a couple of times, it's going to be your freaking shirt. But folks, if you got cable, cut it off. If you have Dish, cut it off. If you have things like Netflix, who cares? Don't pay for Netflix. Don't pay for none of these streaming channels. Don't do that. Get yourself an Amex Platinum, get Peacock, get the Disney bundle, and get all your stuff there. You know, an Amex card is probably the best thing you could possibly get. All right, so what if it's a $695 annual fee? That adds up to $58 a year. You get all your streaming channels. I get my Disney bundle. I get my Peacock, and I get my Paramount. I have roadside assistance. I have phone insurance. I have Amex points. I get $100 at Saks. I get Walmart delivery for free. You know, I get all these bonuses and benefits that more than add up to $695, and then I get additional savings on top of that. You know, I probably save thousands of dollars every year with my Amex Platinum card, and I put anything I spend money on, I put directly on the. The only thing I use is my Amex card. I don't use my bank cards. People who use bank cards to buy things are idiots here. If you qualify for an Amex Platinum card or an Amex Gold, by all means get one. If you don't, get one of those Chase Rewards cards. Don't spend money. Don't pay for your stuff on a bank card because you get no benefits with it. With an Amex card, when you spend money, you get points and you can use those points in return. Amazon Prime is okay, but everyone pays for Amazon every single year. So I have my Amazon Prime and I have my Amazon Music. So I mean, yeah, I think it's good. You can listen to Pandora as well, or you can just listen to the radio, or you can set up a playlist on YouTube and you can play all your music. You know, there's no need to really pay for music neither. You got YouTube. Just go through your account, set up a playlist of all your favorite things, and you can play all your videos. You can play your favorite songs on them. Now, sure, you're going to get advertisements and stuff like that, but so what? You got your playlist of music. Well, I appreciate that, Andrew. Thanks again for the donation there. I mean, for the most part, I'm a miser. I'm a very frugal person. But at the same time, that's why I have the Goodrum group. It's a financial site there. I do give financial advice here. I mean, people spend their money on such crazy things. They're fast fashion. You guys see what I wear. Like I said, I've never dropped a dime on any of the fancy clothes that I wear, or my shoes, or my socks, or anything. And I still won't do that anyway. YouTube Premium is a waste too. Just deal with the advertisements. Who cares? I mean, Hulu. Okay, you got an advertisement that lasts for a minute. Go to the restroom, take a piss, go get some popcorn, like Terrell Owens, and deal with it. If you got to listen to an advertisement, so what? It's relative. Brooks Brothers is fancy, but again, I didn't have to pay for any of my Brooks Brothers clothes. Now, the pink sweater I spent $100 on. That was a rare luxury because I wanted one. I like the sweater. If you really like something, then, it's okay to buy it there, But that's one of my very rare buys to where I spent money. But even with that, I still use discount codes in order to get it to save myself a little bit of money. But overall, I still spent about $100. It was a $150 sweater. Malak, you can use Pandora or Amazon Music while you're working out as well, and that's free. I mean, if you wish to pay for YouTube Premium for music, that's perfectly fine, but I do just fine with my music on Pandora. And I mean, I still have Amazon Music. I get that for, so. I mean, I guess it's just some from the old school days, 30 years ago, you would listen to music on the radio. You didn't pay for music. I bought a couple of CDs and stuff like that. But here's the thing with streaming channels here. And this is what I don't like about this new age. When it comes to streaming channels, once you cancel the membership, all your music disappears. When it comes to a CD, for example, it's permanent. You keep it. You've paid for the music. You don't have to pay again for it. Oh, the Brave browser probably has. I'm not familiar with it, but chances are they probably have some things in there in order to advertise, possibly spyware. Well, LimeWire and Napster was illegal music. I mean, it's okay to pay for music if you enjoy it. These are just my opinions. It's up to you whether you wish to do it or not. I've just found that, it's just better. I mean, I've just never had a problem with streaming music. Well, Bradford, you should then do it there, if you wish to go off grid, then, get things together and, just go off the grid. I have a bunch of friends that have done that and they've been happy with it. Deep Purple, we've already talked about the Blaha Discord. I did see that you just popped in, but another Discord channel will pop up maybe a day or two later. Jamie, I had an Atari ST computer at that time, so it had a floppy drive. But I've used those AOL discs at one time, but they clogged up my computer. But they made good coasters. In fact, I probably still have some of those AOL discs lying around somewhere. Well, porn sites don't have to be ad intensive at this point because people like porn and they're going to buy it there. So, but you have to be really careful as far as sites are concerned. I keep things to the basics here and that's it. But I'm not some sort of porn hog to where I'm watching that every single day. Again, things have to be done in moderation. Just if you want advice on porn, which is kind of weird for me to give you, just do what you got to do in order to crank off one and just go back to work. World War III, that's always possible. Well, good for you, Andrew. We got 10 minutes left, Raul. I think twice a day is always a good thing. Just take the advice from the Wolf of Wall Street. I would say at least crank off twice a day, once in the morning, and once at night. You're pretty much set. Now, if you know you have a date coming up there, then you definitely don't want to be cranking off anything, just in order to keep your stuff in, So, because if you're jerking it too much, you're gonna have trouble getting it up. Best streaming platform for broke. You can use any streaming platform. I don't care. But you don't. You can actually watch. You can probably watch something like that since it's an old movie on Tubi or Pluto for free. It's not something you have to pay for at this point in time. I'll probably close out with the Sanford and Son mix tonight. I started the show with some Christmas music, but I know everyone likes the Sanford and Son remix, so it's a good way to close out a show. Well, like, different strokes for different folks. And folks, I don't have any problems discussing my general habits on that as well, There has to be a set limit there. I'm a pretty schedule oriented person, you know. I'm a big fan of the Wolf of Wall Street as well, you know. It gets your mindset as far as that's concerned because if here's the thing, folks, if you're not cranking it off there, it's very hard to concentrate on work if you're thinking about sex all the time. When you crank one off, you're done. You're able to concentrate on your work. That's just my opinion on it. 5 a day is really bad. No, definitely not 5 a day, Andrew. Where would you find time for that anyway? Am I a bit squirmy? Raul, I've had McFarland's Kentucky Bourbon. I'm essentially buzzed, but I usually hop around in my seat a bunch, even while I'm working. That's just a general habit I have. But yeah, as a general note, I'm always kind of squirmy whenever I'm sitting in my seat. Well, Raul, it's cold on this side of the house, so, good Kentucky bourbon will warm you up pretty good. Okay, Jamie. You have to remember my head doesn't get red, but it because I'm black, it doesn't turn any colors at all. Ew, sex doll? No, 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 no. Ew. You can get a lot of bacterial infections with sex dolls. Well, whenever you're young, I'm sure you can crank it off. I mean, when you're young, like I was, I mean, I could probably crank it off maybe 10 times a day, but I didn't. Because when you're in your 20s, you're going out to the club and you're meeting up with people, so getting down like Charlie Brown wasn't no issue. Well, I'm black, Raul. It's the bottoms of my feet and my palms are white. Yeah, interest rates are going up. Yeah, it's going to be pretty hard to buy a house whenever the recession hits. Hey, good to see you here. I thought that Mr. Olympia was a great event. Sorry you tuned in so late. We only got like 5 minutes left. Well, after 19 times, Lake, I bet you were spent. What the hell were you looking at there? Jamie, you should not be worrying about how you die there. If they find women's clothes, heels, and stuff in your closet, who cares? You're not. You're going to be dead. What difference is it going to make? 784. That's happened a lot, especially in China. Actually, a lot of people die in China from sitting too long playing video games because they're not playing; they're actually working. They build up these accounts and then they sell them off to people. Look, thanks again for the donation there. I definitely appreciate it. And folks, if y'all want to put in some Christmas money, just hit that donate button down below there. So get the great one some liquor money. If not, well, oh well. I use arginine before I go to bed, but magnesium is a good thing to use. I would probably use a little zinc along with it if you're going to be using magnesium powder before bed. Well, you can check your browser history, but so what? Here's the thing, folks. If your family catches all of this stuff in the closet, you know what's going to happen? It's going to be thrown out and no one's not going to know about it except your family. I mean, seriously. Are they just, are you seriously can't expect your family to go and tell everyone what you actually had, in your closet or anything like that. And again, you're going to be dead. It's not going to make a difference here. All right, folks, 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. Get your questions in. If you got something to ask me, that's perfectly fine. We'll do the Christmas run on probably around 11 o'clock a.m. till 12. It'll only be for an hour. This will be before football, of course, naturally. I take 5 grams of arginine before I go to bed, Jamie. I have not visited Mexico. I've been on the border before, but not actually gone in it. Eventually, I will go to Mexico, as well as Canada. I wouldn't use B12 before bed because that may keep you awake. Vitamin C and D3 are perfectly fine. Well, you shouldn't, quick pump, you shouldn't worry about trying to score with women. You should be yourself and actually build a rapport and conversation with women. Here's the thing. Women can tell if all you're looking out for is to get some pussy. So be yourself, be confident, wear nice clothes, have an actual conversation, and you'll get as much trim as possible. You should eat fish twice a week. They used to have old commercials back in the 80s and 90s about eating fish twice a week. But folks, it is midnight here. The midnight run is now over. I want to thank you folks for tuning in. I want to thank everyone for donating. Be sure to tune in on Christmas Day around 11 a.m. for the Christmas run. And we are now going to close things out. Trim Raoul is pussy. That's what that is. All right, folks. Gonna close it out with the Sanford and Son. Good night, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy whatever you like to choose. Good night, everyone. See you later. Peace and soul.